So here's another sit out at one of the brush blinds. As you can see, there are still plenty of cattle out there trying to ruin our sit, but it was funny because, as you can see, this bull grazed out in front of me. And by the time he got all the way off to the right, there was a deer behind him. And I never saw it come in, never worried about it, couldn't hear anything because he was so loud. And I guess it almost made the deer seem a little more easy because they thought it was safe with the cattle around, because the cattle didn't know I was there either. Which was interesting because that Charolais bull is actually a little mean. And he ended up grazing around 3 sides of me before he saw me, and he was only about a yard or 2 out. So, got lucky he didn't really get very mad or anything. I have loads and loads of deer footage. I put some of it in here, I left some of it out. If you get bored, I'm not going to be offended when you skip forward, but here's some more footage of the cattle. I know it's not deer or very exciting, but I thought some people might think it's a little funny to watch these cows play around a little bit and eat up all my deer corn. I have more footage of the calves playing. They get close to the blind and I'm in the rifle blind, so if you'll like to see that, I might make a video with just that or include it more often in the deer hunting videos. So we're heading in for another sit at the blind. It's a cooler day today. A cold front blew in. It's about 55 degrees. It should be dropping off pretty quick though. Not too much wind. We're gonna see what we can see. If I see that 4-point with the real tall horns, or maybe I think there's a 10-point that comes out, we'll probably plaster one of those two, but anything else we'll probably let walk. We don't have to kill anything yet. Still plenty early in the season. Even though rifle season will be starting in about a week, we can still use a bow if we want to. So there's no rush. Passing by the tanks and park up the truck and then walk the rest of the way. So we're nice and quiet. Feeder doesn't go off till 5:15, so we should have probably came in a little earlier, but we'll be all right. So as you can see here, the plot thickens a little bit. There's actually an 8-point that runs in. And they're actually, now that I've been doing a little more scouting and we're into the rifle season and stuff, I've seen that there are 3 8-points that are all really close to the same size. There's one that might be 1.5 inches, 2 inches wider, but they're all kind of high-horned and very symmetrical. So they're nice deer. They're fairly young. I guess I'll probably shoot one just because I haven't seen any older bucks, and I don't really need 3 bucks that are all the same. You can also see here that when these deer run across, there's a few 6-points that are very similar as well. It seems like that I have the last 3 generations as deer, but the rest of them are gone. I'm not sure what to think about that. I haven't really seen any older deer in a while here, especially not since I started hunting it. But that's a problem we can fix. Like I said, we might shoot one of the 8-points, but we'll let the other 2 grow and see what we can come up with. I guess that's what managing deer is all about. So while I'm filming this, it is October 29th, which means on November 2nd, the regular rifle season will open for my county. So we're, I guess, on our way to giving up on the crossbow, but we're not done quite yet. So here we are heading into the blind on opening day. I didn't go this morning because I got in from work last night, but we're going to be hitting it pretty hard this season. So here it is, opening afternoon. I definitely plan on seeing deer, but I'm not sure if I plan on killing any. I mainly just wanted to come see what comes out, which is usually almost always the same, but you never know when you're going to catch a buck walking through. And I really just enjoy sitting in the blind and watching nature, so I like to come out most days. So this is my horrendous attempt to try and take some footage from the rifle blind. Like I said, the blind's about 110 or so yards from the feeders, so it's kind of hard to capture it. This is actually through a pair of Walmart binoculars on 24 power, so the field of view isn't very good and it shakes a lot, but you can see there's that 8-point at the beginning and some other deer. Tried my best, so this is where you got to work with. So I thought I'd just round out this video with some of the stuff I'm going to be using for rifle season, since it's already here. For starters, we got the rifle, which is a Remington 700 right here. It's pretty old, my grandfather's. It's got a cheap Bushnell optic, and I mean, for what it is, it's an excellent rifle. I've really killed at least a dozen deer with it. It's killed well over, I mean, many a deer. It's a 22-250, which a lot of people would consider too small. Here's what I've been using, just Remington High Performance, also known as the cheapest at Walmart, 55 grain. In fact, so cheap you cannot get a muzzle velocity off of it. But this is what it looks like compared to some other common rounds. We got the 22-250 right here, followed by a 30-30, and this is a 270. I'd love to have a 270. I actually don't have one. I'm not sure where this round came from, but as you can see, it looks pretty rough and abused. But for now, we're going to be sticking to the 22-250. Some of the knives I got this Case Skinner knife. Excellent knife. Case always, as you know, I'm a big fan. It's a very sharp, perfect Skinner style knife. It's got jimping on the spine. Really works great for skinning. I also carry this knife a lot for splitting the sternum and stuff. It's a lot better for that. This is actually a knife I made. Put you down here for a second so I can get it out. But I made it out of a saw blade, which you can see right here is where it was clamped in. It was one that my ag teacher gave me after it got a little too abused. It was actually used to cut metal. So, I mean, it's extremely hard. It's stainless steel. I had a heck of a time drilling these pinholes. In fact, I ended up having to just use some sort of abrasive, kind of make divots, and ended up breaking some pieces. But it ended up being an excellent knife. You know, I can beat on the spine a little bit, and it doesn't really do any damage. It's got a little bit of a clip point here. It's nice and sharp. I haven't had to sharpen it yet. It's very, very hard steel. And this sheath I also made, it's set up for scout carry, so As you can see, it's got the 2 loops. You carry it horizontal across the back. I got a little Zippo lighter in here with a butane insert so that I can, because I don't use the lighter very often, so having your typical fuel wouldn't really do me any good. It's a soft flame though, and it's still one you don't have to hold. I guess it hooks up to this spring right here to keep it open. But a great lighter, as you can see, it's got plenty of flame to it and works like a normal Zippo would. So that's what we got. You'll be seeing some videos with this stuff soon. We are definitely going to kill a deer very soon, so stay tuned for that. A little bit more about the 22-250. Like I said, a lot of people would say this is too small. This is more of a coyote round or something. And, you know, it's definitely got its place there. It's pretty good for long range because it's such a small projectile moving so fast. But in my experience, like I said, this rifle's killed many a deer, and I've skinned many of those deer. And I can assure you that I've never seen a bullet get caught in the carcass. They always have a clean path through, so it's not like penetration's a problem. Even with these soft tips and even hollow points, nothing seems to be able to slow them down enough to catch the bullet, even when it goes through a shoulder blade and the rib cage and everything else. So, something else I'd like to mention is my shot placement. A lot of people go for a hard shot, and that's a very ethical shot, or the lung shots, but I tend to go for a neck shot. That's what I do. It saves the shoulder meat. It cuts out a lot of the tracking problems that you might have. Don't get me wrong, I love to track deer, but maybe I'll do a video on why I choose the neck shot over other. So that'll be it for this video. Stay tuned for more